Hey, welcome. Sometimes you find the most incredible connections in the most unlikely places. That's really what we're talking about today. It's this idea I'm calling the preschool papa principle, a story about how watching a toddler play, well, it might just teach us everything we need to know about healing from some of life's deepest hurts. It's pretty wild.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. A toddler's playtime and addiction recovery? What in the world could they possibly have in common? It sounds a little out there, right? But stick with me, because the answer, wow, it gets to something so fundamental about what we all need to grow, to heal, and really, to take back our own lives. I stumbled into this completely by accident, and honestly, it's changed the way I look at, well, just about everything.
So first, let me introduce you to my granddaughter, Harbor. She's just pure discovery. There's this church near us that does this amazing thing on Wednesdays. They turn their entire sanctuary into this massive, incredible playroom. And for Harbor, this place is her whole world. It's where she gets to learn and tumble and just figure things out. And then there's Tammy. I got to know Tammy after she asked me, and it was such a simple but incredibly brave thing to do, if I could be her driver. Just a consistent ride to her weekly recovery classes. She's on this really tough but also incredibly hopeful journey, fighting her way back from addiction and homelessness. So yeah, two totally different people, two completely different worlds, right?
All right, so let's get into it. The first piece of this puzzle, the absolute foundation for any kind of growth, doesn't matter if you're 2 years old or 52, it's safety. That's the bedrock. It's the one thing you have to have before anything else can even begin.
And this is where things get really interesting. You've got these two completely different settings, right? A playroom and a car, but they're serving the exact same purpose. For Harbor, that playroom is super predictable. The toys are always in the same area, the volunteers are there to help, but gently, not to control her. And for Tammy, my car, that became her predictable space. Just me showing up every single time created this little bubble of safety where she could finally start to talk, to be honest, to grieve without being afraid.
And you could literally see it happen in real time. With Harbor, I just watched. Week after week, that familiarity made her, as I put it, super at home. And once she felt at home, she got more confident. She started exploring more, she'd go up to other kids, all because the ground beneath her feet felt solid and safe.
Now for Tammy, that sense of safety was, it was a lifeline. It took a while, but she eventually told me about her marriage. 20 years of constant surveillance. I'm talking GPS trackers on her car, cameras in the house, just total control. So our rides, they were the exact opposite of that. No judgment, no control. And that consistency, that simple act of showing up, is what built the trust she needed to even start looking at all that chaos from her past.
Okay, so you've got safety. What happens next? Well, once that foundation is there, something really incredible starts to happen. You get freedom. The freedom to choose. The freedom to play. And the freedom to start writing your own story again. This, right here, is where the real healing starts.
And this leads to a really important idea I want to share with you, something I call fragile agency. What is that? It's basically just reclaiming control over your own life, even in tiny, difficult ways. It's for when everything around you, all these external systems, are trying to limit your choices. It's about those small, powerful moments where you say, no, I choose this.
I mean, look at this quote from Tammy. It says it all. She told me, I chose to sleep on the sidewalk. That was having control over what I could control. Think about that. Leaving her marriage, even for homelessness, was an act of freedom for her. As awful as it sounds to us, choosing the sidewalk was her taking back control. It was her decision in a life where she hadn't been allowed to make any.
And that was the light bulb moment for me. That fragile agency, it's a kind of play, right? We always think play is just for kids, but it's not. It's for all of us. Play is just the freedom to explore, to try things, maybe to fail, and to learn without the stakes being life or death. And in her own way, Tammy was learning how to play again.
So this is where I started connecting all the dots. I realized that the things I was doing instinctively with Harbor in that playroom were the exact same things that seemed to be helping Tammy. So I kind of jokingly started calling it the preschool papa method.
And it's really, really simple. 3 steps. Number 1, let them play. You set up safe boundaries, sure, but inside those boundaries, you give them freedom to choose, to explore. Number 2, celebrate everything, and I mean everything. Every tiny win, every good choice, you've got to notice it and reinforce it. And number 3, model calm. When things get chaotic or emotional, you have to be the anchor, the steady, calm one they can look to.
So with Harbor, what did this look like? Well, I saw her in this moment where she wanted a doll another little girl had.
And instead of just grabbing it, she asked for it. So I made a big deal out of it. I told her, hey, I love that you asked her for that instead of just taking it. You're learning. It's that simple reinforcement that helps her build a map of her world.
And for Tammy, the wins look different, obviously. But the principle was exactly the same. Like, she made a mistake and had to face this review panel, and she handled it with so much grace. We celebrated that. When she finally got approved for a weekend furlough to go see her sons, you better believe we celebrated that. It was a huge deal. Reinforcing those steps forward, it's just so important.
And all of this, it brings me to maybe the most important point of all. Systems and programs. They have their place, they do, but they are not enough. They can give you rules and structure, but they can't give you the one thing that actually makes all this growth possible: humanity.
Tammy said it better than I ever could when she was talking about some of her past experiences in court. She said, they treat you like you're that piece of paper. That's all that matters, is what's on that piece of paper. I mean, wow. They saw her as a file, a case number. The system just erased the person.
But then she got a new judge. And this guy, he's different. I actually got to overhear one of her Zoom court hearings one day, and I was just floored. He spoke to every single person with dignity. You could just feel that he was rooting for them. He was a human first and a judge second. And for Tammy, having someone like that in her corner, it changed everything.
And that's really the heart of this whole thing, isn't it? Systems are good for providing guardrails, you know? They can keep you from driving off a cliff. But it's the people, the caring, consistent human beings, they're the ones who throw you the lifeline. They're the ones who actually give you the courage to try again, to learn, to grow, and yeah, to play.
So I want to leave you with this question to think about. We all live inside these systems, right? Full of rules and routines. But the real growth, the real healing, the real joy, that comes from something else. So who are the people in your life who make you feel safe enough to just play? Think about it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer.